Michael, first off, just on JJ McKeon, and obviously came off with that knock. Have you been able to protect the worst of that injury?
Yeah, we're trying to protect it. So it's more of a calf strain, a soleil strain. So he's been in the building to see how and assess him. We've got one or two other knocks that's come off the back of it. So we've just got to manage that as always. But yeah, we'll see how he's getting on.
We saw a couple of long-term absentees come back on Tuesday, so I want to talk about a couple of the others. Adam Jackson, where is he in his return?
Jacko's still struggling with his face, so he won't be available for the future, up and coming future. So we just got to keep monitoring. He's getting better. He's on the mend, but yeah, we won't see him for a while.
And when it comes to that, I guess he can do some of the fitness work and continue to do that. It's just the day-to-day contact and training.
It's getting the contact on the face again, which, as you know, could cause serious damage. So yeah, he'll probably be, that's where you see players in a mask sometimes. So hopefully we'll get him back on the grass training, probably with a mask on, and then sooner rather than later try and get him back into contention for the team.
And how's Tom Hamer getting on?
Yeah, progressing well, but a lot longer down the line. Still a couple of months off probably, because that's a big one. But he's doing really well. He's fantastic in the gym. His rehab's going as best as we can hope because of the effort he's put in really. So he's been fantastic rehabbing, but he's still a way off.
Just want to talk about a couple of your loan players. Obviously, Saxon Early not been involved recently. I know Wayne Rooney's talked about his loan spell and them to look at it. Is that one of those that we get to January and just say it's just not worked out?
Yeah, probably. I think he's been in and out. He's had a bit of flu. He's been missed because of suspensions, and it's just probably not quite got going for him. At the start of the season, we had obviously Rico, Dylan. We had people missing, and it was one of those where we thought we needed cover at left wing back, and he's just not quite managed to get in the team, if you like. So yeah, I think we'll have to just assess that when we get to January, and that was the reason is to let's see where he's at, let's see where we're at, and obviously where his parent club Plymouth are at.
And on Bailey Cadamartri as well, I know Danny Roll last week was talking about him and saying he likes the fact that he's having to show a bit of resilience to get into his side, but is that again an ongoing conversation with them?
No, that's good. Yeah, I think Bailey's progressing well. I think he's like all the players that are fighting for minutes. He probably want more minutes, but I think he's progressing well. We're seeing improvements in his game all the time. He's got a good goal, good eye for goal, another good goal on against Morecambe. So it's probably his all-round game that needs progressing. But I think sometimes like Danny Roll says, they come to be loaned and developed, but part of that is they're trying to get in a team. Trying to get in a team against other experienced players. And I think he's fighting for his place like every other player. But his attitude's fantastic. His work ethic is fantastic, and his parent club Sheffield Wednesday are really happy as well because he's seen a progression in his game, his all-round game. So I think if he keeps growing, he's going to be a really good player hopefully for us in the future, and also Sheffield Wednesday. And
with that discussion, do you have to have a constant conversation with Sheffield Wednesday so it doesn't come as a surprise if they wanted to bring him back?
Yeah, we're always in constant discussions, and for whatever reasons, loan players, that is then generally not fully your player, are they? So they could get injuries in the next 2 months and have to bring him back. It's something that's not out of our control. But what we are in constant discussion with are loan players out and loan players from other clubs coming in, how well they're doing, how well they're progressing. We have development plans for them that we share with their parent clubs and vice versa. So I think more than anything, it's the loan journey is always a challenge because they're not in our control for the foreseeable of the whole season. But ultimately, the relationship is there, and we keep talking and keep helping the player to develop because ultimately that's what the parent club wants.
I know there's still 12 points to play for before the transfer window opens, but do you have a very clear plan in mind of what you want to do in January?
Yeah, I think we have a plan of what we want to do and a plan of probably what we need to do, and I think they're two different things. There's some things I think we need to do and there's some things that we want to do, and I think January's always more of a reactive window than a long-term strategy plan window. So where we're at with injuries and where we think we need bodies, and again, if we lose players for different reasons, that how do we react with that in the window? So our recruitment strategy is a very reactive one, or planning to be reactive, if that makes sense, rather than what does it need to look like in 2 or 3 years' time, which is more of a calmer window in the summer. But yeah, we know what we need to do, and we've got plans in place for all different scenarios and permutations, and we're going through those every week, every couple of times a week with Jez and the recruitment team.
Huddersfield, another of the sides that are at the top of the table. How have you compared what you've seen of them compared to your Birminghams, your Wickhams and your Wrexhams?
Yeah, good style. Do it differently. I think what you're starting to see is the bigger clubs migrate to the top of the league, which I think you'd always going to see, but at the start of the season, even Huddersfield having a bit of a blip and weren't quite there, but now you're starting to see the Huddersfields come, the Boltons come, the ones with some real good strength and depth, and we know they're big clubs. I think you're seeing them now sort of hover up and start to move their way up to the top of the league. But again, on a day, we think we can compete with anybody, and they're really good at home. Really effective at home, and they're a really effective team. They're strong at set pieces. They'll get the ball in the box and put you under a lot of pressure. But again, we want to be solid, but also try and affect the game and go and win the game. And I think every game that we go into, whether we get there or not, or whether we have the performance or not, we believe that we can go and beat teams from top to bottom. At the minute, it's just probably not landed in the way we wanted to with the league, obviously, but we've just got to keep going.
As you say, they've scored quite a few goals from set pieces. Do the lessons you've learned from Rotherham, I guess, whether they've been learnt, will take effect this weekend, won't they, most likely? Yeah,
and it's a challenge in this. It's a huge part of football. Everyone's talking about Arsenal set pieces. Everyone's talking about, we have to remember set pieces is a huge part of the game. Nearly 33% of goals are always scored in set pieces. So when you need to defend them, you need the right profiles to help you defend them on the pitch, especially against a team that's good. But we want to score them as well. So that's why we do a lot of work on set pieces, and that's why I think the game's has always been big on set pieces, and it will be the same moving forward. So you have to be in the plus in set pieces rather than the minus, and I think that's everybody's challenge. But definitely Huddersfield are a really strong team at that, and really effective team, get lots of set pieces, physically dominant, and we're going to have to stand up to that. But conversely, we're going to have to try and affect it and put our stamp on it the other end of the pitch.